Hello and welcome back to Deep Dive Cinema. My name's Mira.
My name's Elliot.
How is everyone today? We're back with another episode, probably a little bit shorter than you might be used to recently, but we've got not as many things to go through today, and we're a little bit crunched for time as well.
Yeah, we'll call this a deep dive bite, just a
little munch.
Yeah, a little munch of that. Not a full meal, but
It's an appetizer.
to keep you satisfied.
Yeah. Well, before we kind of get into the usual chatting about comics and making fun of films and stuff, we just want to bring attention to the fact that, as I'm sure you've heard, Stan Lee passed away this week.
Yeah.
Which was upsetting for both of us,
Yeah.
and for millions of people all over the world, and we just wanted to speak briefly about him and his legacy and the lives that he affected, because what a great man.
Yeah, and he's had such a huge influence as well, you know.
Yeah.
Just media in general has really been... He's had his mark on it, you know.
Yeah, his legacy will last long after any of us,
Yeah.
which is sad to think on our behalf, but what a imprint to leave on the
Yeah,
world, you know.
For sure.
So God bless Stan Lee and his family. Hope everyone's holding up okay. Is tough for me. He almost felt like a grandfather, which sounds stupid because obviously I've never met the man, but it's a name that I've read every day nearly for half of my life. You know, like it's always Stan Lee presents whatever comic book, and it was tough going.
Yeah, so we thought we'd maybe talk a little bit about our favorite cameos, because obviously he's in every Marvel film, is he, or is there any?
I think, as far as I know, he's in every. Actually, no, I don't think he was in Fant Four Stick, and I think there may be a couple of X-Men films that he wasn't in.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I don't think like
Blade,
in the Blade
or
era, yeah.
Daredevil, I can't think of.
No,
And all of the MCU films and all
Definitely.
of the adjacent like Netflix properties he's in as well, isn't
Yeah.
he? And other films as well. He was in Teen Titans. He was in
Teen Titans Go. Yeah,
Teen Titans Go.
Yeah,
He was in Clerks, wasn't he?
He said one time, he said, you know, the way that, you know, DC's movies haven't been super successful, to make a great DC movie, you've just got to put me in it. And then he was in Teen Titans Go, and that's like the most
Highly
critically acclaimed DC film.
Good
so,
job, Stan.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so
he did it.
What do you think your favorite Stan Lee cameo is then?
I really... Was it in Guardians 2?
Yeah.
That's when he was just meeting with the Watchers, and it kind of gave some explanation to all of the Stanley cameos are the same guy who's kind of taking the role of a Watcher, as in just being there for any big event that happens on Earth.
If you're unfamiliar, the Watchers are an alien species in the Marvel universe, in the comics, and the films now, I suppose, who just their job is to oversee everything that happens and document it, and they're not allowed to interfere. I think they were introduced first in the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
But they're just big, baby-headed, bald alien things. They're quite weird looking.
Yeah,
But
you know in a comic when something really big is going down, because all of a sudden someone will be like...
Watchers there.
Someone's like, hey, what's that dude doing here?
Yeah, but the suggestion in Guardians was that Stan Lee was somewhat of a Watcher himself, because he referenced the fact that he was a delivery man in Guardians 2,
Yeah.
and he's been a delivery man in one of the Fantastic Four movies, I think the first one.
The first one, he was a delivery man in that one, and he was in
Civil War as well.
Yeah.
So it's really a suggestion there that maybe even the Watchers get their news from Stan Lee,
Yeah.
which I thought was a really, that was like a fan concept long before it was introduced into the films. But
Yeah, and it also meant we actually got to see the Watchers, which was kind of cool.
yeah, it was. That was such a what moment in the
Yeah.
cinema. I remember
Yeah,
like explaining it to a friend I was with afterwards, and just how weird that was as a
to
cameo.
put in. Yeah,
So
what's yours?
Well, I was going to bring attention to that one as well, but the other one that I really liked is from Spider-Man 3, which is probably the best part of that film. But it's the scene where there's like a big scrolling, banner board
Yeah.
that says, Spider-Man saves the city, like due to get the key to the city, or the mayor to honor him and what have you, and Peter Parker stood there looking up at it and kind of feeling, for once in his life, feeling kind of chuffed with himself.
Yeah.
And then Stan Lee rolls up beside him and goes and looks up and says, well, I guess one man can make a difference.
Yeah.
Enough said. And what's so sweet about that is, like, not a lot of people know that, but Nuff said, like apostrophe NUF, Nuff said, it was like a Stan Lee thing. Like that wasn't in the like the general lexicon until he would always he used to have these, you know, captions on the cover of his comic books where it'd be like, next week the Sandman Nuff said, and you know, that's like you're gonna have to buy it then. And I used to love his little notes where he'd say there'd be a reference to something in conversation, and he'd be like, this occurred in X-Men issue 121, and then it would be like, you know, Historian Stan or something like that. And yeah, what a guy.
Yeah, I liked his one in Thor is when they're trying to the hammer Mjolnir has landed, and it's, you know, created this big crater, and everyone's trying to pull it out of the ground, and they wrap it around it with chains and attach it to his truck, and he drives as fast as he can, and he tears up off like the back of his truck.
Yeah, the bender comes off, doesn't it?
He turns around and goes, "Did we get it?" And I remember watching that with our grandma, and she found that so funny.
He's a funny man, isn't he? Yeah, he was a funny man. God bless. But,
I remember watching that with her, and that was like her favorite part of the film. So.
It's a cracking part. Yeah, he does a good job. He played Hugh Hefner, the Playboy guy in Iron Man 2. I think.
He did.
Didn't he? That was a weird one, or maybe that was Iron Man 1. I forget.
Yeah, I think it was Iron Man. It was one or two. Yeah.
It was at some kind of Stark Expo event, I think, but that was a funny one as well. So, yeah, I like that Spider-Man 3 one though, because I guess he is a man who made a big difference.
Yeah,
you know, he really was. And I've seen kind of some false stuff about him online since his passing as well, about kind of his personal life and accusations about him and suggestions that he might have been racist and stuff. And if you're one of the people who's bought into that, I'd beg you to go and just read some of his stuff from the 60s and 70s before it was cool to be woke and, you know, against, you know, speaking up about racism and stuff like that, because he was the son of immigrants, Romanian immigrants. His real name is Lieberman, not Lee. I don't know if you knew that. And he used to have like a Stan's soapbox bit at the end of the comic sometimes, where he just kind of put his, you know, try and preach things and say, you know, like, don't be hateful towards people. And you know, the X-Men were kind of an allegory for racial discrimination.
Yeah, I mean, the X-Men throughout history have just been, you know, that they've been an allegory for people who, especially minorities, who are suffering just for who they are. That's always been the core theme of that series, isn't it?
I really think that he was a man ahead of his time, and a really good person, a good man through and through as well. So please go read some of them if you've kind of been seeing stuff and it's been tainting your opinion on him, because I've no idea why anyone would want to badmouth a man like this. Anyway, God rest him. Thanks, Stan, for everything. Hopefully we can be the kind of creators that you'd want us to be. I like to think in a way that he's made cameos in my life as well. You know, just, you know, showing up in the films that I like, in the comic book. You know, I've never met the man, but he's kind of he's been there in little cameo appearances. So you know. Anyway, let's move on. So you've got crap comic book character of the week this week, but just before we get into that, I want to talk about something that I saw this week, which is on Netflix, and it's Batman Ninja.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've heard about this.
I watched the trailers when they came out.
Yeah, so it's on Netflix because I guess just no one wants anything to do with it. And it was really stupid.
Oh yeah.
The concept is, right at the beginning, Gorilla Grodd's using some kind of machine in the attic of Arkham Asylum.
Oh, you know, they got that whatever. Just let them tinker.
It shoots everyone way back in time to like feudal Japan. So like, I don't know, 1400, something like that. Like, no, it might be a bit later than that because there are Christian missionaries there.
Okay.
So whatever time period the film Silence took place in, it's probably that.
I've been reading a series that my dad recommended me, which is about a bunch of English and Dutch people who land in feudal Japan, so it's kind of that era.
Yeah. Well, check out the film Silence. It's a Scorsese film. It's like 3 hours long and it's pretty heavy. But I saw that in the cinema, and everyone else in the cinema was like, "This is so boring," and like leaving and on their phones and stuff. But I was so just like captured by it, and it's got a good cast. It's got dude who played Spider-Man, that's not Tobey Maguire. Andrew Garfield. Yeah, and Adam Driver. Really, really good. Yeah, but they all get zapped back there. All of the different Batman villains get popped into different parts of Japan and then become rulers of those parts of Japan.
Okay, so are they still like American?
Yeah, well, it's in Japanese.
Okay, but
it's an anime, like it's...
Yeah, but they went... So it's all the people from Gotham just go back to...
Yeah.
Okay. Because my understanding was the original comic was it was just kind of like an Elseworld, like what if...
No, in this one, modern Gotham's exactly the same.
Okay.
They just go back there.
Okay. So it's a little bit different from the original story.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I haven't read the original story. That probably would have been cooler because I just didn't really understand how they all ended up in different places and then just became the rulers of them. So you've got Two-Face, Joker and Harley, the Penguin, Poison Ivy, and Deadshot.
Okay.
And so they're all in different places. Batman turns up like 2 years later than everyone else because I guess he was sucked in last or something, and that's how time travel works.
Yeah.
Everyone's there, even like Alfred. He was like, like, I was waiting in the Batmobile for you, and I got sucked in.
What?
But everyone's just like looks the same, except they've got kind of like samurai version outfits, which aren't. They don't look good.
Oh no.
No.
The only one I saw was I obviously saw Red Hood. He has like a lantern.
Yeah, he's got like one of those massive like. It's like a big cylinder head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw the Joker just has this giant like kimono.
Yeah, basically. Well, they've got all sorts of different outfits. But then the Joker, they fight. Then there's like 4 different Robins in it as well, and they
were also all in the Batmobile.
Yeah, it's a big Batmobile in this world.
It was a family day out. Just really went.
Don't talk to me or my sons ever again. Yeah, but one of them's Nightwing, I guess, not Robin. But they're all basically sidekick guys.
Yeah.
But then they put together like a clan of ninjas who all worship like the bat, and they've been like, it's always been the prophecy that a bat god will save us or something. And it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. The Joker's there, they fight a bit, blah blah blah. Joker then hypnotizes himself to lose his memory and becomes just like a peasant farmer. Okay. And he's like so Batman goes and finds him and is like, oh, he's actually lost his memory, like, I know the Joker, like, this is for real this time. But then the hypnotism was for when he sees a certain type of flower, he snaps out of it.
Okay.
So it was basically like a timer, because when that flower grew months later or whatever, anyway, then all of the castles turn into giant mecha robots and they start having a giant fight, which is like, this is feudal Japan.
Yeah, what?
And then, of course, I forgot to mention, Robin has a pet monkey.
Yeah, of course he does.
And this is like the young Robin, not like Red Robin or...
like Damian Wayne?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got a pet monkey. And he's got a really stupid, like, partly shaved head.
Oh, nice.
Not the monkey, Robin.
Okay. I'm sure you mean like the sides, but in my mind it's just like, like the classic monk with like the shaved top.
Well, no, it's kind of like that. It's like, imagine if you've got a shaved head but a mohawk down the middle, and then imagine you've got like a monk haircut at the same time. So it's like the mohawk down the middle, but on like a circular bald patch.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah,
weird.
It's really weird. I don't. Maybe it was cool at the time.
Yeah, maybe.
How do we know? Honestly,
that's why I love in comics when aliens come down and they just have like the hairstyle of the Earth. Yeah. American current times.
Yeah.
Like, that's always super funny. Like, I can imagine if the next comic comes out and they've all got like 40s hairdos.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd love that. Let's campaign for this.
Yeah.
But then there's more fighting. There's also a part where Batman sees a penguin and he goes like, "There are no penguins in feudal Japan," which is just like the best. I think the best line of dialogue I've seen from anything in a long time. And it's also over the top and anime-y as well.
Yeah.
Though that being said, the Japanese voice actor for the Joker does an incredible Mark Hamill Joker impression, but like in a different language, which is really impressive. Yeah. Anyway, then all the robots join together into a mecha Power Rangers robot, Gundam style.
Yeah.
And then like millions and millions of monkeys, which are friends with Robin's monkey,
What?
and then can be controlled by a flute that Gorilla Grodd has,
What?
all form like a giant monkey
What?
as well to fight the mecha, but it's not big enough. So then Batman calls in like 1 billion bats, and the bats
What?
and the monkeys fuse into one extra giant thing.
No, what the hell? What?
But hold on,
like the monkeys from the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, what?
No. So they fuse into like just basically an action figure of like old school Batman, like grey and yellow Batman.
Okay.
Which doesn't exist in this world because that's so they form into that and fight them, and then I don't know, they all go back to the present or something. It was like something that could have been cool, but instead it was just so stupid, and just like everything that has anything to do with Japan, they were like, yeah, let's do it.
Let's put in.
Also, why is it called Batman Ninja? Because he's dressed like a samurai, not a ninja, and he doesn't have any ninja or samurai abilities.
Samurai abilities such as big sword and privilege.
Yeah, I guess. It's just so stupid. So yeah, it looks amazing. The graphics and the CGI and the animation is incredible,
But
and
the
voice actors were really good as well. But and it's a laugh. It's worth a watch if you've got nothing else on Netflix,
Okay,
you know.
yeah.
But it's bad. It's really
I
bad.
just finished Breaking Bad. It's time to move on to.
What do you think of
Ninja.
Breaking Bad?
The ending, I was like, where are the next couple episodes? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really thought it was going to go on a bit more.
What?
Definitely wasn't the ending I expected.
No.
But yeah, phenomenal show.
What's your favorite season?
I really loved Gus.
Yeah.
So probably, because I just kind of watched it on Netflix, so I finished a season and went right on to the next one. It's kind of hard for me to distinguish. But the ones where it was really going down with Gus, so he was constantly trying to work out a way to kill Gus.
Yeah.
That was for me, my favorite.
That was good.
My favorite season, yeah. Or the first one. The first one or that one.
The first season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think season 1, 4, or 5 are my favorite ones anyway. I think 2 and 3 didn't catch me quite as much.
No.
There were great parts to them, but
Of course,
yeah. Well, I always liked that it was left a little bit open at the end, but there's talks now about them doing a film next year starring Aaron Paul.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which and apparently Vince Gilligan, who's writer showrunner of that show, is going to write and direct it. So
nice.
I'm actually
I
quite.
was like, where does this character go? Yeah, especially Jesse. I was like, where does he go now? You know what?
Yeah, but I mean, I think the film would have to be really good because otherwise, I think it'd be better to leave it open ended.
Yeah, for sure.
You know? Yeah. Cool.
Have you seen Better Call Saul?
No, I've not. I watched a few episodes of that, and my housemate for a couple of years was a really big fan of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Is it set before Breaking Bad?
So
or?
most of it is, but then there are scenes that take place after, and I think the scenes that take place after are in black and white. But it's probably like maybe a whole episode that takes place after across 5 seasons or something.
Okay, because because like obviously there's different covers.
Yeah.
That come up, and some of them have Gus on, so I presumed.
I think most of the characters from the show are in it in some capacity. Is like maybe it might just be a cameo, some might be bigger.
Okay.
I've only seen like a few episodes of it. It didn't really catch me because Saul was never one of my favorite characters, and I never found his like comedy particularly fitting for the world it was in.
Yeah.
So maybe a show where he's leading it would be better because they'd
be more
totally
about
different.
him.
But
Yeah, for sure.
I always kind of liked him as a supporting character and was never that fond of him as a main.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, check it out though. Maybe you'd like it more than me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I definitely will give it a shot. Nice. Do you want to move on to the crap comic book character of the week?
Please take the lead.
Yeah. Okay. So we've been hearing more and more about Wonder Woman 1984.
I think it might just be called Wonder Woman 84.
Okay. I think the wiki said 19, which kind of surprised me because I presumed it was just 84.
84 is catchier, probably.
Yeah. So I was having a look at some really old Wonder Woman comics. I was kind of skimming through them.
From like what, 40s, 50s?
Yeah, this would be 40s.
Yeah.
And I came across this character who's in this group called the Villainy Inc.
Oh yes, of course.
Because there's this group of villains, but the one that really stood out to me was the Blue Snowman. So
not the regular snowman.
Well,
wait, isn't the microphone we used called like the blue snowball or
something like that? Yeah. Whoa.
Damn.
Well, originally they were just called the Snowman, but then the next issue that they're in, they're like, "Nah, I'm the blue snowman."
Is there just a snowman?
Well, they're called the Snowman, and then they changed their name to the Blue Snowman in a different issue, and there's no mention of them ever being called the Snowman before that.
Oh, so I thought they were going to call themselves that to diversify them from Okay.
No, okay.
All right.
So the issue really sets off where these people from Saturn have been attacking Themyscira, and they just look like regular people in red jumpsuits.
Yeah, of course.
Wonder Woman. This is so weird because there's all these different. I never understand what like magic items does Wonder Woman have.
All of them.
This one really threw me because
yeah.
She ties them up in her lasso of truth, and all the women are like, "Hey, man."
Hey, woman.
Hey, Wonder Woman. Can you just keep the women back on Earth and prisoners here because we'll be tortured back on Saturn? And she's like, "Yeah, okay, man, you can leave and go get tortured, but the women, I got you, buddies."
Feminist icon.
Yeah. And then what she does is she's like, "Okay, time to whip out the belts of Venus, which are these kind of corsets that she clips on them, and they're like now they can't do evil." And I'm like, why would you not?
Why would you put this on everyone?
Yeah, or like, in a fight, slip that on them and they cannot do evil. And they're locked, so...
Whose definition of evil is it, though? Is it like...
Venus? The goddess Venus, I guess.
Oh, right, okay.
But then, the leader, whose name is Evil S...
What is that? Or Superman on Superman's chest? Evil S.
Evil S. She pretends to just die. Wonder Woman's like, "Oh no, she's dead. Don't worry, I'm going to go get my..." And she calls it her blue ray machine and bring her back from the dead. So apparently she also just has a machine that can bring people back from the dead.
Can you imagine in Justice League, instead of going through that whole deal about, getting the mother box and using Flash's electricity, she could have just got her blue ray machine.
Yeah, it would have been fine. No, so Evil S escapes. She's just like a lady from Saturn, and she just walks around the corner and she's like, "Oh look, it's a group of villains." That sure is. I've never seen
in Themyscira.
I've never seen a more dangerous group of villains. This truly is villainy incorporated. So we've got Cleopatra, we've got Cheetah, we've got who else do we have?
Okay, so there are actually some big names from the Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And then Blue Snowman.
Hit me up with some more names because they're...
Dr. Poison.
Dr. Poison's there as well, yeah. And Blue Snowman, and I was like, who's this Blue Snowman character? So I looked them up, and the original comic I cannot find anywhere.
Alright, it's too old.
It's too old,
Yeah.
but I found a synopsis of it.
Okay.
So basically, this Russian man called Dr. Brilliant...
The classic Russian name.
Yeah, made this suit, which looks just like... It's a mech suit, but it's designed just to look like a portly man in like a suit and a bowler hat. And he's like... And it can create, like, ice. So he's like... It's really weird because they're talking about stuff that, as a reader today, I'm like, oh, they mean like global warming. But I think...
Probably not.
No, I guess he's like, it'll save so many people when I can bring down the temperature of the world. And I'm like, that sounds like global warming. You're kind of onto something there.
Damn, he was also ahead of his time.
Yeah, but then he just trips over and dies. And his daughter's like, man, I guess I'll take the suit and do evil. But, so it's really weird. So... It's like it's really outdated because she's like, I'm going to pretend to be this male supervillain because clearly no woman could do what I'm about to do.
How do you have so little belief in yourself that you're actively doing something but you're also poo-pooing the idea that you could do it?
I don't know. So she goes, so her villain kind of persona is of a man.
Right.
But then underneath she's called Byron Brilliant.
Okay.
So she has a tussle, and Wonder Woman gets rid of the villainy ink, but this woman comes back a couple times. She joins like the Ice Pack, which is Dr. Freeze, Frozone, just every ice.
Frozone?
every, sheer
every
cold.
Ice.
Every ice.
Killer Frost.
Killer Frost.
Yeah.
Every ice villain.
There's so many in DC.
Decides to team up and just be an ice team.
Just think how powerful an ice villain would be in like an Aquaman comic book, but no, they're always just on ground.
No, yeah, so they team up, and then just like a fire guy comes in and kills all of them. It's so funny. It's like rolling into the ice gym in Pokemon with your Charizard just wiping the floor.
Oh no.
But
it's so honestly, nearly all of these older comic books, just like every issue is, they just die. Like they're never like, we'll keep this guy for later. It's just they just die. Like we were talking about the million-year-old teenager, and it's just, no, we killed him.
We killed him off.
It's done,
Yeah.
Like they had no kind of foresight, and we might want to use this character again in the future.
No. So I thought this character would be kind of like a subplot minor villain.
No, I'm not having it. He needs his own spin-off movie.
I want him to feel like a subplot minor villain for Wonder Woman 84 because that's about the Cold War. So
in DC, the Cold War is named after the snowman.
Not only is it Russia, and she's Russian, but also it's the Cold War and she's got cold superpowers.
Damn, it's all coming together.
And especially in Wonder Woman the first, they loved that twist ending.
What was the twist?
The twist was that Ares wasn't the evil man who'd been evil.
Oh yeah, he was Mustache Man.
But he was Mustache Man. Yeah, so you'd be like,
that was a twist that like punched you in the face in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah,
they were like, be surprised now, and it's like,
yeah,
I don't believe it.
So if we're going for the same kind of film as the last Wonder Woman, which, I mean, like a lot of people still enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
Then I'd have it a bit of a twist. Have like maybe like a male villain who's, you kind of think, oh, so that's the blue snowman, but then it's like, nah, bro, it was just me the whole time.
Is that annoying friend of Wonder Woman's who just makes her try on loads of outfits?
Yeah.
It's her.
Yeah, it was her the whole time.
Yeah, it was really, they set that up far in advance.
Yeah, later on she changes it from like just a blue portly man in a bowler hat to like a snowman suit, so it looks like a snowman.
Oh, good. That was what I was hoping it would be like.
And she gets like a pipe, because like sometimes you put a pipe in a snowman and it just like shoots. It shoots like a gun shoots icicles. She's so dumb.
I thought if you were a supervillain though, you'd have like a stupid gimmicky costume, right? It'd be so much fun. If I was like a snowman gimmick and I had a gun that shoots icicles, I'd be like, okay, what can I design this gun to look like? Yeah. Definitely.
So I can really.
Though if I had ice powers, I wouldn't even try being like a superhero or a supervillain. I'd just be like, damn, another one. Like, who cares anymore? It's like saying like I can juggle. Everyone would be like, "Oh, cool," but like no one's like, "Oh, sick! You're the coolest guy ever."
Yeah, if you get ice superpowers, then you're just kind of like a lesser Mr. Freeze or whatever. You're never gonna shine.
Except it sounds like this person doesn't need to randomly. There's the doorbell.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like this person doesn't need to randomly use diamonds in order to fuel their eye.
No, she just fuels it the normal way, I guess.
Great, like a freezer would.
Like a freezer, yeah.
Or the more economical way.
Maybe, hey, it's Cold War. Maybe it's nuclear.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like the suit from Pacific Rim.
Oh yeah.
They had the only nuclear suit, so it was fine.
Yeah, well, I like that idea though. That it's Cold War. The idea that the Cold War was named after such an insignificant character is really funny to me. So I like that idea.
Yeah, I thought she tied in quite well.
I think Wonder Woman could do with more humor as well, because
definitely, yeah.
The first one was a little bit serious.
Reading that one, there was so many funny scenes in it. Yeah. I was like, I'd love just some of this silliness. And
I miss when she used to just have like a magical item for every situation. It's like Doctor Who's sonic screwdriver. It's just always sort out your tricky situation. Yeah.
Yeah, and
did you have anyone in mind to play them?
No one was really, because I like she changes a lot from comic book to comic book.
Yeah,
because I was kind of chasing her a bit, but so there's no one that really stood out to me. But,
yeah, I get you. It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, so someone who can do a good Russian accent.
Now, I think, as with all films, bad Russian accents are just funnier.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I think that's what we should be doing.
Let's in the audition just get anyone who can't do a Russian accent and be like, you're the one.
Can you do a Russian accent? No. Okay, go on then. And they're like, hello, it's Russia, and you're like, perfect, you're in. It's Russia. That's the name of the character.
Let's maybe. Oh man, Batman and Robin did steal most of the ice puns though.
They did, yeah, but that's not canon, so who cares?
Yeah, we can get
canon in our hearts.
We can get a couple of ice puns in. It's like, it really is the Cold War now.
That's the last scene. Then it hard cuts to credits.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw a really funny suggestion. Oh, we finished on that section?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. There's an upcoming Godzilla 2, and then that's followed by King Kong versus Godzilla.
Oh, I didn't know there was Godzilla 2 first.
Yes, I believe so. Maybe I'm incorrect. No, I think that's right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there is, because there's a trailer for it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I've seen it.
It's got Millie Brown.
Oh, Millie Brown.
Yeah.
Millie Brown 11.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And it's also got Godzilla.
We weren't sure if he was going to bring it back for the second one. Maybe we'll do it.
But no, they put up a synopsis,
through.
And it was about, I don't know, some kind of like, you don't need to put us, like, it's giant monsters fighting each other. Everyone's going to see it. Yeah, but then I was looking at the comment section on it, and someone was saying, like, who do you think's going to win out of the two of them? And it was immediately obvious that no one's gonna win. They'll be like an actual bad monster.
Yeah,
they'll fight each other for a while, and then they'll team up and beat the bad guy.
In King Kong versus Godzilla, I think there's King Ghidorah as well.
Yeah, there's several.
There's Mothra is going to be in it.
No, this is the thing, right? It was the suggestion that Godzilla is about to kill King Kong, and then King Kong says, "Save Mothra." And then they're friends because they both know Mothra. I'd love it. I'd love that. I'm so down.
I was watching that King Kong film again, and there's some really cool
Skull Island.
Yeah,
it's cool, isn't
there's
it?
The bit where he gets the giant tree and he just rips off all the branches and uses it like a sword. And you're like, oh, you probably splintered up your hand, but that's so cool.
Giant bamboo spider that stabs the guy through the whole body.
Yeah, and but like just the way that. I like how King Kong, in that they made him, he wasn't just the same as other monsters.
No.
He could actually use tools and stuff.
Yeah,
he got like
clever.
the giant chain from the end of a boat and was strangling people with it. Like that was cool.
It really was. That felt like exciting in like a video game type King Kong situation. You remember what are the name of those things that are like lizards but with only front legs?
He was like. Skull crawlers.
Oh yeah,
I've never said it out loud before. Now it sounds kind of dumb.
Yeah, no, that's it. Do you ever think our dog looks kind of like one of them?
I mean, our dog has 4 legs, but
no, but he's still weird looking.
Yeah, he's still a very weird looking dog, and it's because because he only had front legs, they were kind of sloped upwards, and our dog does a weird squat because he can't sit with his butt on the floor.
He's not got a full tail, and he's a bit confused. Still.
So he has to like kind of just squat low to the ground with his head high in the air.
Oh, bless him. Well, as well as that, though, there was loads of news about just all sorts of film and TV and comic book stuff this week. Pedro Pascal was confirmed to be the Mandalorian in the Star Wars show, which is cool. Disney said that they're going to put out a new fantasy TV show on the launch of Disney Plus to compete with the Lord of the Rings show on Amazon.
Yeah, was that The Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe or a different one?
No, Netflix are doing The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe at the same time, so it'll be like a 3-pronged fantasy TV. All of them are going to be jumping to try and replace Game of Thrones, which finishes in April, I think.
Yeah.
And so there was quite a few other things as well. It seems like everything's getting a trailer at the moment, or a synopsis, or it's Ghostbusters 3 might be happening.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that.
Maybe next week we'll each try and pitch a Ghostbusters 3.
Okay, cool.
We could do that.
I came in and because I've watched the first one lots. Yeah. But the second one I've only seen once, I think, and I came in and Ethan, our little brother, was watching it, and I was like, this is very weird.
It really, both of those films are weird. But I think...
but it was a bit where they were trying to banish the god from the baby or something.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. Bill Murray's just running around with a baby, and he's like, "Now listen, baby, you stay right here."
You can really tell that Bill Murray didn't want to do that one.
Yeah.
But Dan Aykroyd.
But they really wanted Bill Murray.
Oh yeah, well, you gotta have Bill Murray, right?
But like any interest, like I've really felt like the other characters kind of took a side seat in that one.
Yeah.
Like anything interesting, they're like, "Oh, we'll make Bill Murray do that bit," which is kind of nice.
Well, it was him and Sigourney Weaver. Do you think she'd be back for it?
Yeah.
Would she be up for it?
Yeah, I think she would.
Okay. Do you think that she and Bill Murray ended up married?
I think what probably happened was you're led at the first. You're like, "Oh, they're married," and it's like in Jurassic Park 3 when you're like, "Oh, they got married," but then you're like, "Oh no, they didn't actually."
What? So it'll be like different scenes of them like getting ready for work in the morning, and then it like shows that they live next door to each other.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's like they're still friends, but I don't think they're married.
Okay, right. Yeah. Anyway, maybe next week we'll pitch that. That sounds fun. So that was a cool piece of news. And we got the Detective Pikachu trailer.
Oh yeah.
What do you think of that?
We're both quite big Pokemon fans. We've played since we were really young.
Though that being said, Pokemon Let's Go just came out on the Switch, and I don't have a Switch, so this is like the first Pokemon title in my life that I haven't just bought and played immediately.
Yeah, I mean we've never gone out of our way to buy all of the side games. Like we've probably missed out on some Pokemon
like
Ranger or Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah, main story Pokemon.
Yeah, although this one I think is out of continuity from the other ones.
Is it? Because I know that Red and Blue are in it.
I think Red and Blue are in it, but this is kind of like a self-contained different one where they just kind of cameo in it.
Okay, well.
Yeah, but Detective Pikachu, some of them look amazing, and then some of them look really weird. And I think the ones that look weird are the ones where they've taken a cartoon and they've tried to make it too real looking.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones where you see like Dodrio, who's like the three-headed emu ostrich one, who just kind of looks like they do in the games and the cartoon, and they just look just like that, and so they work. Whereas then you get like a Mr. Mime, who already was a creepy looking guy, and then they made like
I liked how the Mr. Mime looked though.
There's this texture to his red shoulder balls, like they're like a
volleyball, like a dodgeball.
A dodgeball, which just raises too many questions for me.
Yeah, it's really gonna take some getting on board with, I think, the way that they look, because it is weird.
Yeah, and Pikachu is real fluffy.
Yeah, like I don't mind Pikachu being fluffy, because I remember Pikachu had like a girlfriend Pikachu in one of the, I remember the anime once, and she had like a little tuft of hair, so I've always kind of thought of them as fluffy.
Yeah.
But then Jigglypuff being fluffy is confusing to me, because that's a balloon type Pokemon.
Yeah, I guess they've got the curl of hair, don't they? But I've always
thought of them as like just really smooth.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem when you've got kind of cartoons, and we kind of presume they've got kind of a smooth look to them.
Yeah.
But then other people view that as, they've just got like a soft layer of fur.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I hope it's good. The fact that it's like Deadpool voice is weird. Don't you think? I made a comment to my friend actually that if this film had come out like 4 years ago, Chris Pratt would be Pikachu.
Definitely. Yeah,
which I thought was an apt statement,
Yeah, and what was I gonna say?
I don't know. Why ask me?
Charizard looks pretty good. I like Charizard.
A bit veiny and weird.
Well, I like how it's not just matte. They've kind of there's more texture to it. That's a way where you add more texture and design to it that looks kind of okay.
Yeah.
It reminds me of I one time saw if Charizard had been designed, if he was a fourth gen Pokemon.
Yeah.
So he had so much more detail to him, because obviously the first ones are quite basic.
Limited because of the sprites.
Yeah, but also kind of as they went on, they added more details and more little fine-tuned things to them to make them really pop. From when you've got 800, they need to have something to make them more significant, and he kind of reminds me of that, where he's got more detail to him.
Yeah. It's a big ask to get people to come and see a film and there's like 800 Pokemon, and you don't need to know them, but like that's a lot to take on board at once, isn't it? You know?
Because this isn't just the Pokemon from the first games, because there's Greninja, who's from a recent game.
Yeah, I think I forget what there was, but I think that there's actually even Gen 7 Pokemon in there as well. I can't think of what off the top of my head, but I'm fairly... Oh, there's... is Floette Gen 7?
Yeah. The flower one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Gen 7.
Yeah, then that's in it, I think. So,
or is that Gen 6?
Oh, I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't think that's Gen 6.
No, there's Flababy, which is
Flababy,
the tiny fairy one. But then there's Floette, which is like a ring, I think, of
Oh.
flowers. That's because that's like
It's like a lei.
Hololan.
Like a lei, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I think
I didn't
that's what it's called.
Okay.
I think that's in the trailer anyway.
It's something to do with flowers.
Anyway, the point is, it's a lot of. But I think that this is gonna just generally try and appeal to it'll appeal to like the nostalgia people from like the 90s who loved Pokemon.
Yeah.
And it'll appeal to new fans from Pokemon Go and the new Pokemon Let's Go Switch games.
And I think it was a really good idea to not base it off the live action off the TV show, not base it off the main series game, but base it off a side game.
Maybe.
Because that way, no one cares that much about the Detective Pikachu storyline.
No.
You know, which means that you can have twists in it that people aren't going to just know, and it means that people aren't going to be mad if you change the story.
Additionally, having a detective storyline is something that's familiar to a general audience who might not be as ready to sit down for just like a Pokemon movie.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that it's maybe like a test to see how it kind of sits with people and how it does.
It'll mean it's more structured as well.
Yeah.
You know, like we know how like a detective movie, you can have a structure to it. And it'll make more sense.
But like if there was like a Rocky style one about like a gym leader or something, that'd be sick. You know, that'd be awesome.
Hitmonchan or something.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Yo, Hitmonlee would be terrifying in live action. Look like a big chicken drumstick.
Hitmonlee's the one who's got the springy legs that can stretch out, right? Yeah.
He'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
So many Pokemon will be terrifying in real life.
There's a recent one where it starts where it's a rock and it's got barnacles, like long hands coming out of it.
Barbacle or something.
But then when it evolves, it's a man made out of hands. I'm like, why would you make this?
That is terrifying.
This is he's got like a hand for a face.
I found a shiny Caterpie on Pokemon Go the other day, which I have now evolved into a Butterfree, and I was just thinking about, like, Butterfree are massive as well. Like, a giant butterfly would be kind of terrifying.
In films, Charizard is always made out to be like a big dragon, but in reality
he's like 4'10" or something.
4'10",
yeah, he's
4'10",
small enough.
He's so small.
Yeah. Well, there's a bit of discrepancy between the games on the height and size and weight of the Pokemon.
Sometimes you'll see in the games it'll be like, here's the information on this weasel. Yep, it's as big as your car. Why? Why would this weasel be this big?
The amount of food it would have to eat.
Yeah.
Anyway, will you see it?
Yeah, I'll definitely see it. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I guess I'm apprehensive.
I'll give it a go.
You know, like I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I hope it goes real well.
Are we going to see the Harry Potter and the Crimes of Gringotts today? This week?
Our little brother thought it was the Crimes of Gringotts, which is the bank in Harry Potter, so it was just about tax fraud.
It's just like, my interest was supposed to be 3%. Nope, 2.2. That's it.
That's it.
Well, you think we'll see it before next week?
What will we say? We'll try to.
Yeah, we're
doing this for you.
Yeah, we sure are. And then
because I think if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't see it.
No, probably not. No. Creed is coming out the weekend after, so we'll try and see Creed.
I definitely will see.
Though I might have to go to London for a weekend, so I might not be able to see it that weekend either. Anyway, last thing is I just recently, a couple of days ago, bought a comic book of the Black Order, who you will know from Infinity War, who are Thanos' children and his generals, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it's issue 1 of that, and there was a really nice variant cover on sale in Dublin, and I thought I will get that because I'm interested in the Black Order. I like them in the Ultimatum story arc in the comics, and it's a nice cover. So I got it, and it's written, I didn't know this, by Derek Landy, who's the author of Skullduggery Pleasant, which we talked about previously on the podcast, and it's really good. It's funny. It's really quite funny. I won't spoil too much, but Corvus Glaive is kind of unintentionally got like a funny storyline going on in it, and it's all about, I love the fact that Infinity War and Ultimatum storyline where they fight like the Illuminati and stuff is like so like small beans to them. Like there's so much going on that it's like insignificant, and they have they're talking about like thousands and thousands of fights, and basically there's like a new empire that's like risen to prominence really fast in the galaxy. So
they used a pyramid scheme.
Use the code for 15% off at checkout.
Use Dark Empire to get 10% off.
Well, they don't even seem like a dark empire particularly.
Well, they never do, those pyramid schemes, do they?
That's how they get you.
Did you ever watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
No, I haven't.
At like the start of the last season, he finds this like cult, and he's like, I've got to stop this cult. But then like he decides to get married, and he just leaves. That cult is still there, and they've just, I guess, like the writers forgot about it. There's still a cult going on in New York.
Will there be more series of the show?
Yeah, there's another series.
Okay, maybe it'll deal with it.
Because they cancelled it, remember, for a whole 2 seconds.
Oh yeah,
and then someone else brought it up.
Oh, finally one of those change.org petitions where like, we actually did something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so check out issue 1 of Black Order by Derek Landy. Derek Landy's a top lad.
He's a great writer. He's really funny.
I've got like a handwritten letter from him somewhere in the house as well. I remember he wrote me a letter once because, I don't know, I wrote to him, I guess.
Yeah, he also has a new-ish series called Demon Road.
I've not read that one.
Which is about demons in America.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're into that kind of thing, it's pretty good. It's a bit darker than the Skullduggery Pleasant.
Which is saying something.
But that one is kind of like, it's quite like funny, then a dark thing. Whereas this one's kind of dark, then a funny thing, if that makes sense.
You explained that so well.
But yeah, it's because demons are a bit more. It's kind of It's like how we had those books where there's one about vampires, which are a little bit more lighthearted, and then the ones about demons are all quite gory.
The Darren Shan ones.
The Darren Shan ones, yeah.
For sure. Get you. Anyway, I think that's us for this week.
Yeah, I think
we've anything else to touch on. There was probably loads we could talk about, but we're not really a news podcast anyway, are we? So no. I think, So maybe next week we'll talk about Ghostbusters and the crimes of Gringotts.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, great.
Love you.
Okay. Let's never close like that again. Alright, thanks for listening. Check us out on Instagram at Deep Dive Cinema. Subscribe, like, and hit the bomb icon.
What?
It's the new bomb icon.
Oh, what does it do?
It blows up the internet.
Hell yeah.